Hi, I'm Mike Jones and I run flashgen.com, and I'm here today to show you some tips and tricks on getting more productive with Flex. Now, I came across a problem recently and had to apply a bit of lateral thinking, but fortunately Illustrator came to my help. I had a nice gradiated background and I wanted to have this really cool little navigation bar stuck on top of it, but I didn't want to have any skin for the actual default state of my buttons. Now, I could have added the gradient into my button skin, but the problem is if I'd have changed the size, either the height or the width, it probably would have knocked the gradient out, and then it wouldn't have aligned back up with the background itself. However, after a couple of minutes inside of Illustrator, I had it licked, and here's how you do it. So, what I've got here is I've got an Illustrator Flex skin template for a button. It's very similar to the Flash skin templates. Illustrator will export as a SWF, not as a SWIC like Flash does. However, the naming convention is pretty much identical. So if we have a quick look at the layers palette, you'll see in here that I've got a few buttons listed down here, and they're followed by an underscore and then the word navigation button, and then a final underscore, and in this case download skin. And all this does is it says that I've got a button component. I actually want to call it navigation button within my CSS, and this is the actual element that I want to apply the skin to. So in the case of our download skin, that would be the download skin of our navigation button. Now, the problem that I had was that I didn't want to have an up skin, but you can't really supply an empty skin to your components. It's always going to be looking for one. So the easy way to get around that is just make it invisible. Well, not actually make it invisible. We're going to actually alpha it out. So it will still exist, but of course we won't be able to see it. So if I take the actual up state on my Flex template, all I need to do is I just need to go inside it to edit it in isolation mode. Make sure you select it in isolation mode to check you're actually in the right state. Look inside of your layers palette. Then all you need to do is just set its opacity to 0. That's it, it's gone. So we can click back out of there, shut our layers, and now we just have our over and down states. That's exactly what I want. So if we go to our file, scripts, and to our Flex skin directory. Now, the reason we've gone to scripts is because to export skins from Illustrator into Flex requires the Flex skinning kits, which you can download from adobe.com if you don't already have them installed. They only take a couple of minutes and they're really easy to use. So we're going to export one because we've already created one. So let's click our export Flex skin. Now, I'm going to call mine global navigation, and you'll notice it suffixes it with a SWF. Click save, bang, that's it, document exported. Now we're going to flip back over into Flex, and what we have here is if we switch into design mode, here we can see my nice gradiated background with my buttons sitting on it at the moment. Now you can see that's a pretty complex gradient, and if I applied that to my button skin it would be a bit of a headache trying to realign it all the time. However, using Flex Builder 3's artwork importer and the skins that I've just created inside of Illustrator, it's a doddle. So if we go down to import, choose the artwork importer from the Flex Builder folder, click next. As you can see, I've already selected the SWF and it's pointing to the right file itself. So we don't need to do that. If you don't have it, just click browse and you can find it yourself. We don't have any artwork we want to copy into any folders, so we can ignore that one. And we'll have it automatically create the CSS for us. We don't already have one in existence, so it's fine. And by default, it'll give it the same name as the actual SWF that you're importing. We need to tell it which base MXML file to apply its styles to. Now, if you've only got one in the bottom of your project, you don't have to worry, it'll automatically select it. However, if you've got 2 or 3, just make sure you point it to the right one, and it will insert the MX style tag for you and link up your CSS straight away. So, let's click next. Here we can see it's read our SWF in, and it's already worked out exactly which components we have inside of here and the various elements that we want to apply to it. So we have our skins all lined up ready for us, and you can see it's a button.navigation button. Click finish and it will automatically create the CSS for us. Perfect, exactly what we wanted. As you can see, it's embedded the SWF, and then it's also referenced each of the individual symbols within inside of our Illustrator SWF file to point them to the correct CSS entries within our button style. Now if we switch back to our gradient background again, there you go. It's updated itself automatically, And here are our buttons without any backgrounds at all. And if we quickly test it, I can now roll over them and I get my nice background, but when I roll off them, I just have my beautiful gradient and my labels. And that's it. If you want to find out some more information about Flex and component development, feel free to pop over to my blog at blog.flashgen.com. Thanks for coming by.